What up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo's final season of Clone Wars. This episode is...
On the Wings of Cardax.
And if you like what we do, I want you to make sure that you share it with all your friends.
Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell for future notifications of our future content.
And hey, like the video too if you like it. We would appreciate it. Alright, episode 3, On the Wings of Cardax, starts out with kind of where episode 2 ended.
Pretty much picks up where it left off.
You know, we got the Bad Batch fighting while Tech is trying to get Echo unhooked.
He's trying to take him out of the Matrix.
Something I noticed about Tech when he fell out of that machine is that obviously he has so many wires connected to him, and they're all permanent. You know, they removed his arm and part of his leg.
I noticed that too, yeah. I mean, he was... Like at one point, we'll get to it eventually, but at one point during the episode, they actually say, look what they did to our friend. And they're not joking. They basically were almost turning him into a machine.
Yeah, he was almost cooked. He was almost done.
He's definitely a cyborg, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, you know, while this is going on, the battle droids? There's got to be some D-Wing commandos. I don't know what we call them.
I don't know what they were, because they were definitely different from other droids that we've seen.
Yeah. But they let the Techno-Union leader know that they have him surrounded, and they come out and they have this decimator.
Right, I was about to say, like, what was that orb that they... the decimator.
And it was they were like locking the doors. And
that was kind of like an odd name for, kind of an orb droid, like to call it the decimator. I mean, I get that it had the ability to kind of like tear down a door with lasers, but...
Well, do you think those lasers that were shooting would kill everybody? You think?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was going to hit, what's his
Wrecker.
name? Wrecker.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was going to hit Wrecker while he was in there.
I guess I was kind of wondering that too.
But it didn't.
But I feel like it was almost like I was expecting something different. When they said, call him the Decimator, I was expecting a giant battle droid. I was not expecting a floating orb. That kind of threw me off, but I was like, all right.
You know, and right as the Decimator gets in the room is perfect timing,
of course.
Tech gets Echo released, they unhook him, and then they have to find a way out, and...
They're able to, hack into the mainframe, 3 keyboards, and...
But they don't need it because the man who got
right,
out
yeah.
was the
He's
man
able
who
to
was
tell
there.
him, open up the air vent, of course, as any good spy movie would do.
Yes.
And
I'm in.
Anakin becomes, a more... powerful person in this scene, I think.
I told David Keith, I love this version of Anakin. This is great. This is a really force-powered, confident Anakin.
I think you said it best when you said it earlier. This is an Anakin I can believe became Darth Vader.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is.
It really is.
The Wrecker.
He tosses the Wrecker up with the Force.
Well, first Wrecker's throwing everybody up.
Oh, yeah.
And then Anakin's like, I'm okay, I don't need your help.
And then he Force jumps up himself. Yeah.
And then he's, pulling him up with the Force. Yeah. After Wrecker, very smartly, started throwing the thermal detonators all over the room to blow it up, which, good thinking on Wrecker's
Ends
part.
up taking out the Decimator, which, okay, so now I can kind of buy that the Decimator is a Decimator when it sort of does this weird, electric blast filling up the whole room. I suppose I could have decimated maybe
It looked
some people.
to me like Force lightning.
Kinda.
Do you think that was a clone of Palpatine?
No.
I mean, at this point, why not? After we've seen the last Star Wars movie, it might as well have been a clone of his head stuck in an orb. I don't know.
With those last 3, I want to break off for a minute. The way Lucas wanted to do it originally was like this cartoon. And these cartoons are so much better than the last 3 movies.
They really are.
Yeah,
they are.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you guys.
Then one of the things that happens while they're walking through the coolant system, the air chamber, the air vents, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever.
It's almost a throwaway statement by Echo when he says, well, when they were plugged into me, I got access to all of their information too. And they made it seem like, okay, that's just for the air vents. But I think
I think he's got all of their information.
Yeah, he's going to provide the way to beat the Separatists.
Now let me ask you
this,
planet. Keith. Do you think in order to access this, are they going to have to plug him back in?
Yes.
Do you think that? So yeah, that's. I was kind of thinking that too. I mean, he still has all of the implements. He might not be able to actually like verbally say it. They might have to download some of this information by plugging them in to their own separatist computer, or not the separatist, the galactic. What do you call it?
Infonet or
whatever.
Republic.
Yeah, basically the Republic computer system.
Yeah.
So they might have to like actually use him the same way the separatists were.
Yeah, and I don't think Echo survives. Only because, one, we didn't see him in Rebels. And honestly,
I was
with
thinking
the
that too.
trauma his body has went through, I think his last heroic act is going to be, it's going to kill me, but get this information out to help the Republic.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I
that's
was
really
thinking
going to
that
hurt
too.
Rex too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Rex, maybe that's why he ends up on that planet, in which I still can't remember the name that they find him on Rebels.
Random desert planet.
Random desert planet.
Number
knows
36.
He knows Anakin won't go there.
Right.
Yeah, he's like,
It's
I'm
so
safe.
coarse.
I hate sand.
And then, as they're escaping, they come up to a pipe leading to another building where they
Sure.
know is a landing
That they're
pad.
trying to
Like
like walk
Bespin
on
to
or
me.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, kind of look like
Yeah.
Bespin, the City in the Clouds.
It was very Bespin-esque, yes.
I mean, if you're gonna go for like a whole spy kind of thing going on, then I mean, you need to have some sort of like a daring thing where like we might not survive. We got to have this like sort of narrow edge to walk on. We might not all make it.
You know what I liked about that scene is that as soon as Anakin says, "All right, we got to walk across," and then no one hesitates except for the biggest guy there.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, you did point that out earlier.
He's
Yeah,
like,
that's
well,
true.
remember,
Oh, no.
was it the first episode where they were climbing up that thing and he's like, I don't hate heights. I just make me
That's
feel
right.
weird or something.
It was like the gravity of falling from. Yeah, that's right. You're.
But
Good
the
memory.
beauty of that is it just brings it down to a human level.
Yeah, yeah. It is hilarious
It is-
that the strongest dude would be afraid of that. Yeah.
And each clone has their own personality, and they're not just clones,
Oh.
they're not just expendable.
As if they're human, and they.
Take
wow.
that back.
Go figure.
And who was it that fell? Tech?
Yes.
Tech falls, and the same guy, afraid of heights, doesn't hesitate for a second to get his friend.
Well, they show constantly throughout these episodes how well the Bad Batch work together.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Navy SEAL team in the sense they all know their place, they all know what they're doing. I mean,
They're almost like
when they're-
family, though, too.
Yeah, no. Like when they're sealing the doors, and it's just like he throws it up, he grabs it, and they're starting
Yep.
sealing the door to keep them out so they have time to escape.
Mhm.
You know, and the scene where that Dave was talking about, they're walking across to get to this, and the D-Wing droids kind of come out of both sides, and they're trapped, but Tech has a solution. He recorded the dragon cry that they heard earlier, and he plays it, and of course the dragons get there, they can jump on them and save the day.
They must have been waiting in the clouds. They were there the whole time. They came
They were
up
waiting by the
super
city.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, just floating underneath the clouds.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
Very Avatar.
Absolutely.
And then we saw
Very Avatar. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we saw something I didn't expect, was the D-Wing battle droids just taking off and flying after him. I was like, I should have
Yeah.
seen that, but
Okay, they had wings, man, like rainbow wings popping out. Like, I've never seen that before. That was crazy.
and they follow back, they're kind of fighting, and then when they get back to the locals that we know from earlier worship these dragons and ride them, and they're part of their society.
Like Avatar.
Like Avatar. Except these people talk like they're underwater. They don't do that on Avatar.
Backwards and underwater.
Yes.
Both.
And then they come up, Anakin's talking, they're pretty upset that they brought the war to them. Anakin's trying to really talk to him about it, but Rex, very heartfelt, comes up and explains, hey, we didn't want to do this, but look what they did to my friend.
Yeah, I mean, Anakin was trying to, like, be one-on-one with them, like, hey, bros, I hate sand too. It didn't work. I don't know why,
It's just something about sand, man.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
yeah.
And then we see the techno unions, hordes show up, and a big battle ensues. We get to see, once again, Anakin Skywalker just being a
Badass.
incredible
Yeah.
Jedi.
So Dave said it best. He was like, look, there's definitely not a lack of action in this episode. It is full. That is primarily what this episode was. This was tons of like back-to-back action. It was battles, it was fights, it was lasers, and okay, so I know that this has been in previous episodes, but one of the things that kind of stood out in this one for me is the fact that like they're still using the same sound effects that they used in all the movies and all the previous shows. You hear that iconic laser sound that is kind of like unique to the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you hear that, the do 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 do, and you're like, okay, this is Star Wars. I can buy this, yeah.
And on that same note, I think because this was so action packed, it didn't have the same impact. I mean, it was good, but I think out of all of the 3 episodes we've seen from season 7, it's the worst one.
I agree.
It was just flat out action to and fro. We didn't have a lot of.
There wasn't a whole lot of like character building. There wasn't much story to it.
Not a lot of plot development.
No.
But this, I think it was way because
it was almost necessary, but
it's showing how Anakin's getting more powerful.
True.
You know, taking down all 3
You
of
could
those
see his
machines
face
by
a couple of
himself.
times.
You know, and when he threw himself off the machine
And then he
used the Force to knock it
Yeah.
out, knock 2
sliced
of them out.
off the leg, and I mean,
know,
he was going to town.
Yeah, he's getting.
And it was
pretty
so
strong.
well done when he's jumping because he's grabbing on that thing and he, makes sure he slices
Yep.
farther than where his hand is.
I
and
noticed
it's
that
just
too, yeah.
Absolute precision, and that was really cool. I was just,
Now,
like
it's
when
like, is that like a precursor to an AT-AT?
yes,
Yeah.
because he called it a walker.
Okay.
But I was just kind of when I was watching this episode because I think it was the shortest of any of the ones
It
that have come
did
out.
seem
now.
like that. Yeah, I thought that too.
But when they come back to the locals and they're like, "Well, look at what they did to our friend," they're like, "Yeah, we'll join you." I was like, "Would they be that quick to join the fight?"
Right.
Because there was an episode from the Clone Wars earlier where they were on this planet and they were like, "We don't want your war. We don't care. We don't do anything." And some of the kids join them, and it was, I think, a little. It was done a whole lot better because it
I
took
was
a
thinking
whole
that
lot
too.
to get them over. It wasn't just a 2-minute conversation. It took 2 episodes to win over
Yeah.
that small settlement to say, "We don't want to bring this war to you, but you're
Yeah.
going to have to get it."
No, there was no real character development. There was no, it was like they were doing the basic minimum to carry the story forward. This was definitely an episode just for like action and fighting. That was their primary goal, clearly.
Absolutely. And I think at the end too, at the very end, Rex is like talking to Echo and he says, "Just like old times." And Echo
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
"Yeah, just like old times." I think Rex is
And then
really.
they kind of zoom in on his face. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought there was something sinister
that was
about that.
that was
I
creepy.
didn't think it was sinister.
Oh, I
looked,
did.
I looked at it more like he was like, "You don't get it, Rex. I know you think everything's gonna be the same, but look at me. I'm
Here-
never gonna be the same."
Okay, here's my thought, and let me see what your thought is on this. I thought that maybe the direction they might be going in is that when he made the comment that they got the information out of me and I got the information out of them, I'm wondering, is there still something in his head from the Separatist movement? Is there some sort of connection that still exists? Can they...
Did Tambor
because-
implant something in there?
Okay, here's the thing. We know for a fact that there's a chip that resides in all of the clones that when Order 66 ends up being implemented, it switches on them. So if that technology already exists, could the Separatists have put something in him as well to, I don't know, override him in some way?
So he can lead them to wherever they are?
Right.
And
Well,
then
do
they
you
can-
think
Like without him even knowing it.
Do you think
That's
the Techno
possible.
Union had some hand in building these chips for the clones?
Oh, they could have.
They had full knowledge of what it was, and they could have changed it up.
They might have.
This could be interesting. So they could get him back to Thing,
They could have.
and he might call all the droids to them.
He
or-
might, without even knowing it, be a spy for the Techno Union.
Yeah.
They could be like just seeing through his eyes and finding out like what's going on.
At the same time, is there anything that happened, like in Revenge of the Sith, that they made reference to anything that might have happened when...
No, that movie doesn't matter. It didn't happen. They're going to remake it.
Oh, okay. So forget it.
They're remaking all of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's all I think we got for you guys tonight. Thanks for watching. Put in your comments what you guys thought. I mean,
Yeah,
are you
let us
loving this
know.
season? And
What do
on
you
a
think
s-
is going to happen next?
We love the interaction. Just
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments.
yeah.
And on a side note, there's going to be a link down in our comments below. We have a new swag store that opened, so if you want to get all of your Not Your Status Quo gear, hats, hoodies, shirts, baby stuff.
Yeah. We got
coffee
shirts.
mugs.
We got hoodies. We got mugs. We got stuff for your dogs, for your kids, for your babies.
Snifters.
Buy it up. Sure, why not?
We got a lot of stuff.
We do. You should check it out. We got some cool designs. We're going to have some more designs coming out as well. So, hey, you know what? Check it out. Check out our other videos. Check out some other channel videos, I guess, too. Why not? You know, as long as you're here.
Thanks, everybody.